We'll see. Back now to Richard C. Hoagland. And Richard, I've got a fax I want to read, but first I want to re-ask my question one more time. If we have mastered the energy available to us by hyperdimensional physics, how could we apply it practically to change what appears to lie ahead?
Okay, let me go back to my analogy with superconductivity.
Yes.
The reason that light bulbs shine is because of resistance in the wire.
Gotcha.
The energy is going through the wire. It's being blocked.
Mm-hmm.
It's suffering collisions, resistance, and the energy of flow is being transformed into randomness energy of heat.
Right.
And light.
Right.
By direct analogy, and it's really more than a metaphor, it's actually at the core of the physics, the way you prevent earthquakes is to keep the energy from dissipating and make it coherent once again. So it flows through the earth without losses. So it doesn't dissipate and cause problems. Now that's a very large-scale explanation for a very complex subject, but that's in essence what you have to do. And one can start on the laboratory scale. One can scale up to, a county-size scale. Remember a few months ago the Russians were offering services to the Indonesians
To create a cyclone.
to create cyclones?
Yep.
Tom Bearden, by the way, on our next appearance, I would like to appear with Tom Bearden,
Okay.
who is acknowledged at the top of this paper. Tom Bearden is a U.S. Army physicist, retired, who's probably done more single-handedly to resurrect the real Maxwell equations and to point us in the right direction. And he has been claiming for years, Art, that the Russians really have a handle on this physics and have been using it primarily as a military weapon. Now, what's remarkable is that when they made that offer to, I believe it was the Indonesians, or was it Singapore? I forget exactly what southeastern country it was, southeastern Asian country. The only possible way that they could have offered that, to create a cyclone and to put out those fires,
Right.
is if they have control of this hyperdimensional technology, which may be known to other people as Tesla technology.
Uh-huh.
Because the name Nikola Tesla must factor very heavily in the discussion of how do you convert from theory to a practical engineering to do important things.
All right. So this could slowly be built to literally a planetary scale.
It may not have to be slowly. This is where Frances Barwood comes back into the picture.
Yeah, let's talk about Frances. Very important. She's going to do a radio program, by the way, today.
That's right.
This morning on KFYI. She's going to be filling in for Barry Young.
Yes, in fact, the last time she did that, I was one of her guests.
Really?
Yes, it was a year ago.
Now, here's what I find to be really, really intriguing. She's in this race now in Arizona for... she's running to be...
Secretary of State.
And her opponent has gazillions of dollars. And she has almost no dollars.
Yep.
And she's actually... I'm hearing that she's ahead in the polls.
She is winning in the polls because people are smart.
Incredible.
This is wondrously incredible, and it basically goes to my Jeffersonian streak, which is that most people, provided the right information, will make the right decision.
Well, this has not been the case in the past, though.
No, but remember, the physics is changing. And this physics, by the way, affects people. I don't want to digress here from Francis, but
Right.
let's get back to its consciousness application down the line in the next few minutes. Let's stick with Francis. The reason that I am really supporting Francis, up to and including the point of showing up at a fundraising dinner next Monday night, July 20th, Magic July 20th, in downtown Phoenix at the Tempe Mission Palms Hotel Resort. We are holding a fundraiser for the Barwood campaign, and I am one of the speakers. She's the other one. And we're going to provide a lot of new data, particularly in terms of the Phoenix Lights and their relationship to the hyperdimensional model. Remember, Frances is being creamed in the local Phoenix press and by the local Republican Party because she dared, like the kid in that Dickens novel, what was the Oliver Twist? You know, when the little kid said, "Can I have some more, sir?"
Yep.
And she stood up and said, "Can I have an explanation, sir? You know, what were these lights?"
Yeah.
And they have creamed her for daring to ask the unthinkable question.
I know.
Simply for asking the question of doing her job for her constituents and saying, what the hell flew over this city that was 2 miles wide and was seen by tens of thousands of people that you don't want to talk about? And everything in the kitchen sink has been thrown at an honest political representative who dared ask the unthinkable. And the neatest thing is that her opponent has $200,000. I think Frances Borchest at the last count was, $1,000, I think I heard tonight. And yet she is beating her opponent in every county that I have data now for in terms of polling in Arizona. Now, this is telling you something profound. It means that people are listening to radio. They're listening to your show. They're listening to the local radio shows there. They're listening to her positions. She has some very interesting positions on a wide range of issues. But her core issue is really our openness in government. It's basically, if you believe in the Constitution, if you believe in government of, by, and for people, at some point people have to count. And Frances Barwood is a lone voice saying people should count.
That's right.
And that's why on Monday night on the 20th at the Tempe Palms, I'm going to be showing up. It's one of these dinners where you actually, they charge you some money, and then a major percentage of that money goes to the candidate.
Sure.
And what I decided to do, because we had a major political win in terms of openness, you and I, on this show, with a lot of help from our friends listening tonight all across the country, demonstrated that if enough people demand, a la Jefferson, redress grievances from their government, even this government, something can happen, something magical. We got the pictures, Art, by demanding NASA give them to us.
It is true.
Macedonia.
It is true. We did.
And what I want to do is to go to Arizona, to Phoenix, and talk to a bunch of people in a room that are going to pay $85 a couple to have dinner with us and to see some remarkable data, including the STS-80 film, which we're going to show, to discuss...
Oh, you're going to show STS-80 there?
STS-80.
Really?
Yep.
You've been torturing us with that film now for about a year and a half.
Well, I'm kind of trying to be careful. And we showed it at the University of New Mexico a couple of weeks ago.
Blows people away. I mean, it really blows people away.
Well, Whitley Strieber gave you a very accurate report.
Oh, yes.
He was blown away. When he was here, when I took him to dinner...
Everybody is. I was, too.
I gave him a copy, and I said, go away and look at it. Well, he did. And he went on your show, and he kind of gushed.
I know.
The kind of thing to gush about. Now, coming back to Frances, the reason it's important that people turn out and support her at this dinner is, A, she needs money. She needs money for signs, she needs money for campaign stuff, the usual stuff.
Sure.
But more important is, if you want to see a reason why she should be elected, remember, the Secretary of State of the state of Arizona is a heartbeat away from the governorship.
Right.
And the history of Arizona politics is kind of interesting.
Oh, it's fascinating.
More governors
come
have
and go.
wound up leaving unceremoniously.
I know.
And the Secretary of State sliding into the governorship. So in essence, this is really, guys and gals, an election for possibly the next governor of the state of Arizona. Now, can you imagine a person with Frances Barwood's integrity and mettle and strength of character and determination to serve, being in a position of being governor of one of the 50 states and being able to say to the federal government, you open the files. You tell me why we're doing this and this and this, why you're flying over our seventh largest city in the United States, et cetera, et cetera.
I know.
And can you understand why the powers that be will do everything, including maybe move the damn planet, to keep her from being elected?
I know.
And yet at the grassroots level, the message is getting through, her integrity is getting through, and I am not making this up. There was a poll recently, and this is how curious the politics are in Arizona. There was a poll recently conducted in most of the major counties, and the local media reported that the governor's, numbers and the treasurer numbers, they did not report the Secretary of State numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So Frances had to call a source that was privy to those numbers.
Yeah.
And we cannot reveal the source because that's how hatchet these politics are now. But it turned out that the reason they weren't reporting them is because against her opponent, who has $200,000 to her $1,000 tonight, Frances is winning.